Hey, it's Denise. I'm just going to do this quick video in here in Percy's room, which is, sort of like my new setup because my computer and all is here. The problem, if you've been watching some of my recent videos, is that the poodle in question sometimes feels like she needs to start voicing her opinion during the videos. And as you can hear, I think this might be one of those times. So I am uploading as we speak, and it takes forever because anything for some reason if I make the video on my phone, YouTube takes hours to upload it, and sometimes even it just crashes mid-upload. If I do it on my computer like this, it uploads without a problem. So we're just going to hope that she's not going to bark. I'm going to wait to be sure the other one uploads and posts before I post this one, because if you watch this one first, it's not going to make a lot of sense. We're like time traveling here. Okay, in the last video, you didn't even see me. I think you saw like my finger point at something, because no, I have not fully turned into a vampire, even though there have been days lately that I've been having to avoid the sun so much that I feel like it. But yes, I am wearing a lot of sunscreen. I had like a mild case of not quite sun poisoning, but they sort of use the term sun sickness for people like myself who really just can't take the UV rays, the being out in the sun. I get basically a mild case of sun poisoning. The headache, the nausea, the chills, curling up in bed and, under 5 blankets and not wanting to get up and just feeling cruddy. So I spent the last 2 days recovering from that while trying to avoid the sun, and I had to go out today. There was no way to avoid it. Puppy Face had an upset tummy that started yesterday afternoon, so she went to the vet today. It just seems to be a reaction to a different type of treat that she had, and maybe it was a little bit too greasy for her. So Percy is fine, for those of you who are concerned. You hear her gnawing on a bone. That's what I think. She's just sharpening those puppy teeth for when, she feels like giving me a little grab. Okay, but back to this video, which I'm posting before the other video. So yeah, I didn't even let you see me because, like I said, I was trying to motivate myself to start some seeds. I am so late. I should have started seeds, depending on the different varieties. I should have started anywhere from 2 weeks to 10 weeks ago. Some things take like 10 weeks to germinate. It blows my mind. I'm one of those people that I plant the seeds, and like within 2 or 3 days, I want to see something popping up. That's why like beans are fabulous, because, they just come up so fast. But I hadn't started anything, as I mentioned, because there was if you look, there was a lapse where I didn't post for almost a month. I was sick. A lot better. I look like a vampire because of the very, very thick white sunblock, because I had to be out today, which basically stays on until bedtime, and otherwise I get like this rash. Before I even get a burn, I get like an allergic rash from the sun. Anyway, enough about that. Back to the mystery that I'm solving, because I sort of left you with a mystery. One was I even going to get my lazy butt out of bed? Because I did film the other one with my phone. I had piled everything around me, hoping that would motivate me to start getting them in the seed starters, in my AeroGardens, and then I'm also going to have to start some things that are larger seeds, or things that just don't do well in an AeroGarden, that I do have some soil that I can start things in, and plastic trays that I can start things in. But I wanted to at least get my AeroGarden seed starters done. Now I have two of them. I have one for my Bounty Elite, which does 60, you can start 60 seeds, not 60, 50. She was groomed yesterday. If you didn't see my little hanging out with my freshly groomed poodle video, it's only like a minute long. She's grumbling. She was just walked. She ate. She's been played with toys, taken outside, spoiled, rotten, hugged, kissed. But she did have to go to the vet today and get some, she was scheduled for her vaccinations anyway, and they felt a little bit of the upset tummy wasn't an excuse to get out of the vaccination, so she had to do it. Believe me, she was well rewarded. So, obviously, I dragged myself out of bed. Obviously, I didn't do a whole lot besides put the sunblock on to go to the vet, because looking at myself now, especially with harsh light on my face, all I need is like some sparkle and like I could be, I don't want to say the name of that movie series that we all know about the sparkly vampires in. But yeah, I'm looking that white right now, and I really am, because it's I think it's just very thick with lots of zinc oxide, which is a physical barrier to the sun. So, how far did I get? I was saying I have the 50 seed starter for a regular, what I think of as a regular size, because I have three of them, the Bounty Elites. So that one starts 50 seeds. And I forget how many seeds. Isn't this bad? I forget how many seeds the farm seed starter starts. It's a bigger number. It's a larger garden. And my goal was, yesterday my goal was like, yeah, I'm going to get them both planted today. And then things happen, like you're walking your dog at 3:30 in the morning in the sleet, slipping on the ice. It went from 70 degrees to 2 days ago to it snowed last night and this morning. So we had a big weather turnaround. And so yeah, I was exhausted. I was just a mess. So, okay. Dragged out of bed, went to the vet, and then was like, all right, I got to do something with these seeds. So I did not tackle the big one, the one for the farm. I started with the smaller garden, the 50 seeds. Now, some of these are going to try my patience, because they're like can take up to 10 weeks to germinate, which, like, to me, it's like I said, like if I don't see something in 2 weeks, I'm like, oh, maybe the seeds were bad. Maybe it didn't like the pH of the water. Maybe it didn't, some of these are going to try my patience. Some of them are things quite a few of these I've never grown before. So what is the big decision? What did I decide to plant in my, you want to see my incredibly low-tech way that I keep track of what I've planted? Other people, like, print out these, like, amazing graphs, like, with dates and depths of how it was planted and dates of when it should germinate and when exactly they're going to transplant it, and then other people do what I do, which is they scribble it on a notebook page. So there are 10 things, and I did 5 plants of each. 50 things. There are other things that I'm going to do that have to be directly sown, so I've got to wait. But as far as plants that I hopefully can get a start on, these are the first 50 that I'm doing. Okay. Librarian glasses, please. I have, usually, I'm like a grow your own food, it's wonderful. And it is. For dinner, I just finished eating, not that I grew this myself, but I canned it myself. I believe in doing like home canning, dehydrating, a lot of the skills that people are no longer bothering to teach their children, that maybe your mother didn't bother to teach you because her mother didn't bother to teach her. At some point, these skills got lost. It was kind of natural. You grew it in the garden, then you preserve it somehow. So I do like dehydrating and home canning and stuff. So yeah, dinner had some ham and bean soup that I canned last summer, and it was absolutely delicious. Okay, so normally I am big on grow lots of food. But I was thinking to myself also, be realistic about the space you have. I'm probably going to be asking a friend of mine, who I don't think watches YouTube at all, if they mind if I put a couple planters in their yard, because they have a big sunny yard and I don't. And my landlord is not big on planters. So what I chose for my 10 plants, now these are just the first thing I'm doing. I started off with one actual like edible green. I'm gonna do rainbow chard. I did 5 plants of rainbow, Swiss chard. Then I did a plant that I love. It's a perennial. It's a decorative plant. I had a hard time finding it when I moved up here. I finally had found a nursery that had one, and about 4 years ago, a friend of mine passed away, and I did a small little garden in the corner of my yard, sort of in memory to him, and I had put a false indigo plant in there, and last year it looked like somebody had ripped it out, because it's not something that animals eat, like they never touch it, and it just looked like it had been ripped out from the roots, like the whole plant had been ripped out. It wasn't like the leaves were nibbled at, or... It's not always an easy plant to find. I happen to love the flowers, and I love how the dry pods are. Luckily, the year before, I had saved seeds from the pods. Now, I remember reading, though, that it's not necessarily an easy seed to get germinating. It's not an easy plant to grow from seed. That's kind of what I've gotten from my reading. I guess that's why pretty much anywhere I've lived, now that I think about it, when I owned the house where I live right now, I rent. But because I did this garden for a friend, I put in this plant, which I really like. But any house that I've owned, I always plant false indigo. I love it. And I've always just bought mature plants at a nursery, So I found the seeds that I saved, and I'm hoping that out of the 5 seeds, if I get 1 or 2 plants, I will be thrilled, because, like I said, this does not sound like an easy plant to grow from seed, and these seeds are... I didn't save them last summer. I saved them the summer before, now that I'm thinking about it. Last summer, I was still very sad. My dad passed away at the beginning of 2020, actually New Year's Day of 2020. And I really didn't do much gardening at all, because I was not really myself. I was still very sad. But this year I was like, Denise, you need to get back out there. You're not a moper. Your dad wouldn't want you to be a moper. So anyway, let's hope that these seeds that I saved 2 summers ago, I'm not so much worried about the age, because you can plant seeds that you saved 5 years ago, and as long as they were stored in a dry, cool place, usually not too much of a problem. You might have a slightly lower germination rate, but usually you're still going to do pretty good. But it's just, like I said, this plant in general, I've heard it can be difficult. So, next. Dwarf teddy bear sunflowers. Now, I have seen them, like, at the florist. I've seen them on videos in people's gardens. I have never grown them, but they look like fuzzy and like cute for a sunflower, which is not normally words out. The glare on my glasses, it's not killing me like actually killing my eyes. It's killing me seeing seeing it on the screen. Oh, it's like unless I'm looking up my then you're looking up my nose. So that's terrible. Anyway, so the regular teddy bear sunflowers, the taller ones, like I'm not looking for the 6, 7, 8, 9 foot sunflowers. I would like something smaller. So I found the dwarf teddy bear sunflowers, so planted 5 of those. Next, we moved on to blue bachelor buttons, which I know these are only annuals. The false indigo is a perennial, if I can get it to grow. But the bachelor buttons, I just think are such a happy, they're bright blue. I just think they're such a happy summer flower that why not? And I did promise a friend that I would grow some flowers to put around the sign at the front of their business. Their business has a sign at the end of the driveway. And I said, you need to dress that up with some flowers. I'm going to put some flowers out there for you this summer. So I want to plant some nice kind of colorful, nice variety of colors, different heights. So why not? I think bachelor buttons are very pretty, and they've been around forever. I mean, it's like one of those old time flowers. Like they've been around forever. Next, these were like one of those that, like, when I tell you when I was doing the where to get your seeds videos during the earlier part of the winter, through most of the winter actually, I did updates of like when I heard that places had restocks on seeds. One of the things that I had myself on that let me know when it's back in stock was green twister coneflower, which is it looks like a very interesting, never seen one in person, but on the packet it's a coneflower. It's in the Echinacea family, and it's like pink and green. And I lucked out and I got some, and I'm going to try to grow those. Those would be perennial. If I can get 5 of those, that would be awesome. And definitely I would put some by my friend's sign, because then I don't have to put them next year. Planned laziness. I then also did Echinacea paradiso, which I have forgotten. I believe, there's no picture of it on the packet. I believe it is like an orange peach color. If I'm wrong and you know what it looks like and you're like, oh my god, it is a totally different color than what she's saying, people. I believe it is like a peachy orangey color. So I planted 5 of those. Again, should be perennial in my zone. I did pink pyrethrum daisies. Again, should be perennial. Seeing all these perennial flowers. This will help me get my friend, the memorial garden that I did for my friend, which needs some attention, and also the area at my friend's place of business that I said I would help put some nice greenery around. Multitasking here. The last 3 things are herbs. I'm doing some Melissa, also known as lemon balm. I love it. I love the smell. I love that you can put it in tea, hot or cold. Some people just crush the leaves and will drop it in iced tea. But you can brew it, you can dry the leaves and make it as part of an herbal, dry your own herbal tea. Lemon balm is just good stuff. Catnip. I don't have any cats, but a friend of mine does. And one of them is not particularly fond of me. And I'm trying to win him over. So I'm bribing, flat out bribing, gonna grow some catnip. Last but not least, hyssop, which is an herb that has, for centuries, traditionally been used for medicinal purposes, basically. It's also a pretty plant. It has flowers on it. But it's a traditional medicinal plant for digestive and respiratory problems. So I thought it was kind of cool to grow a plant that's both got a long tradition in herbal medicine, and yet it's also pretty. So even if you have no intention of using it, I would never tell anyone do all your own research or talk to someone who's a professional, before you decide what plants are edible or whatever. Like, I would never say just because I've made tea out of something that means you should. Different people react differently to different herbs, just like they do to different medicines or foods. So it is something you should talk to someone who is actually trained in that, or has lots of experience, and that you trust them and know them, and don't think they're just trying to sell you something. But anyway, so those were my 10 on my high-tech orange notebook. See, I write it at the top because sometimes if I'm trying to really squeeze in, I'm only going to do 2 of these, I would actually write in each box what was planted. But I just decided to be lazy and do 5 of each of 10 things. I told you I didn't want to get out of bed at all. So the fact that I did 5 of each of 10 things, I felt like I deserved an award when I was done. Instead, I'm doing this video. So after you've watched the other video, which is at 12% uploaded, it still has 1 hour and 49 minutes. The likelihood of that happening without it, timing out and bad things happening, not good. So I might not be posting this today, and so my references to the weather might be a day or 2 off, and you'll be like, that's funny, I thought it was hot in New York. I'm in the Adirondack Mountains, if you haven't watched videos where I mentioned that. So northern New York State. And yeah, so hopefully the video that will make sense, because like I said, in that one I'm trying to work up getting myself, even to drag myself out of bed to get moving. Certainly it didn't happen in the morning. Not gonna lie, it didn't. I didn't get around to this great work of art that you see here and the planting of seeds that it represents until after I got back from the vet appointment with Percy, who is now quiet except for the occasional noise, which means that my loud talking is keeping her awake. She had dinner a little while ago and is now... No, she had dinner at 6. Yeah, I was going to say, she had dinner and already went out for her, it's been an hour since dinner walk a while ago. So she's hardcore trying to take a nap right now, because puppies are like that. So yeah, the periodic moans are just to remind me that I'm annoying, and that my making videos when she's trying to sleep, she finds highly annoying. I'm just happy she's not barking because I find that highly annoying. As I did one or two videos where I was like, should I even post this? Should I even post it? People are going to watch it and be so annoyed because, like, she wouldn't stop barking. And I will not cave. I will not be one of those people who rewards their dog's bad behavior just to get them to be quiet. Because then you're reinforcing the bad behavior and they're going to learn, hey, when she's doing that and she's busy, she'll give me treats to shut me up if I bark. So I refuse to teach her that. I'm trying to teach her, her manners and things the right way. Uh, so I'm going to have my manners now and end this so that it's already been 25 minutes, which I didn't think it would take. You know how I am. You get me talking about certain things, and definitely plants and my dog are among those things. And I could talk for hours. If you ever want to watch me talk for hours, you just let me know because I can do it. Anyway, thank you for watching. And as soon as anything starts to poke its head up, and we see some germination, I'll let you know. And then I start keeping track on the high-tech board here. I start like making little marks of what germinated. Like, so I have some idea of, okay, if the first 3 of these all germinated, roughly a week, and now it's like another 2 weeks has passed and these 2 haven't, they're probably not going to. So, this gets complicated. This gets high tech for a notebook that I didn't even bother to use a ruler to draw the lines on. I know, I can't help it. I could help it if I wanted to. I drew the lines with a Sharpie. I mean, I was doing this kind of on the fly. I was doing it as I was figuring out what to plant. Like, I was like, yes, that one, and wrote it on there, and then I planted the next 5 and then went through the seeds. I've got so many seeds, and a lot of them I'm looking at and I'm like, you know what, you should have started these 6 weeks ago. I have so many interesting tomato and pepper varieties, and I should have started them a month ago at least. So at this point, I feel like they wouldn't stand a chance. So why would I do that to them? Why? There's taking on a challenge, and then there is setting yourself up for doom and disaster. When I know how short the growing season is here, and I know that I should have started these plants a month ago to give them enough time to be decent sized transplants to go outside, and I didn't do that because I was sick. Yeah, I'm not going to aggravate myself by starting them now and then having them die, like, just as they're starting to form tomatoes. Like, we get our frosts at the end of, our summer ends, like, first week of September, we can get a frost. We can get a frost right to the end of May. So we have, basically June, July, and August to grow. And so if you don't get a really good head start and have somewhere to keep them, until they're ready to be transplanted and in big enough containers so that they don't get root bound and stuff, it can be challenging to grow something that needs a longer growing season. This just really isn't the location for that, unless you're doing like container gardening indoors or hydroponic gardening, like in an AeroGarden. These things that I'm talking about today, I'm just doing the seed starting in the AeroGarden. Most of these things are going to be planted outside. These are not things I plan on growing inside. I probably will grow one pot of, I'll fill a little flower pot with Melissa because I love how it smells. It smells like lemons, and I like having that in the house. So I probably will assuming they grow well, you know, I have enough of them, I probably will keep one in the house because I just like it. But most of these things will not be kept in an AeroGarden. They're just being started that way, and then they'll be transplanted into soil at some point. And that's that. Oh my god! And if you watch the video that, oh, now it's saying it's uploaded 15%. There's 2 hours and 9 minutes, so the amount of time has actually gone up instead of down while I've been talking. Wow! And I've been talking for 30 minutes. This one's gonna take forever to upload too. Thank you for watching. I hope you're gardening. I hope you're growing something. Even if it's just, you know, a little herb garden on your windowsill, or some plants out on your deck, or on your patio if you have space. I think growing stuff is just kind of good for the soul. It makes you feel good, and puts you back in touch with, you know, the sort of cycles of the seasons, and reminds us that things change. And after this past year, I think we're all ready for some change. And, you know, seeing the plants come back to life, I know makes me happy. Although the daffodils were in full bloom and then they got snowed on, they're not looking so good today. On that happy note, I will say thank you for watching. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell and know when I post a video. Comment. If you put one of those pervy, like, links to a porn site, comment, I am going to report you, so please don't do that. People don't come to watch my videos because they want to watch porn. Does this look like that kind of channel? No, it is not. It is not. Trust me, people who are looking for that are not watching my videos. But yeah, I've actually had a problem with that recently and having to report it. You know, people like spamming people's comment sections with links to porn sites, and it's disgusting. So, yeah, now you're like, why would I watch her site if she's getting... I reported it. It was removed. Where was I in my pitch? I was getting you to subscribe and to notify and leave appropriate comments and like the video and share the video and grow stuff. That's the important point. Grow stuff. Whatever stuff you want. I plan on growing carrots in my green stalk garden. And I am going to try, like I said, to get some planters and do maybe some potatoes, maybe some more herbs. I bought some really weird, like, herbs that, like, nobody bothers growing anymore, you know, kind of just old, odd herbs that I found. And I kind of wanted to do those just to see what they're like. But that will be another video. Have a great day, and as always, thank you for taking the time to watch.